When you think of marketing, what do you think of? Is it a website? Is it social media? Is it video, email, heck, maybe even a billboard, or simply word of mouth? Well, actually, it's all of it. Marketing is not just one thing. There are multiple layers and multiple channels all working together in sequence to help build awareness for your business. With so many channels and avenues to take, how do you even know where to start? What is right for your business? How do you begin to put a plan into action and in the end, get it all working together to bring you in new business? Well, don't go anywhere because my guest and I are going to talk all about the importance of purposeful marketing. That is, having a complete marketing strategy, using different channels to create a wider reach so you can bring more awareness to your small business. Hi, I'm Lindsay Berta, founder of Berta Marketing, a marketing agency designed specifically for small business owners where I handle all of your marketing so you can focus on what you love. My guest today is Joel Sousa. Joel is a brand identity and graphic designer passionate about helping companies create their brands the right way. With over a decade of experience, he works with business owners one-on-one to help them create their brand foundation, designing complete brand DNAs, and creating brand-aligned visuals. He's also the first point of contact at Growing Design, a team of creative freelancers ready to serve their clients collectively or individually. And apart from all of this, Joel is also an active helping voice to any new creative professional that wants to dive into the world of freelance. So, Joel, thanks so much for joining me on the podcast. We've known each other for a while now, through Instagram, great community over there. And I just really, I feel like we are always hitting on the same topics, the same points. Like it seems like every time we post something, we are on the same page with everything. So that kept happening. I was like, we definitely have to do a podcast.
Yeah. So thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, first of all. And yeah, it almost like from someone looking from the outside, it kind of looked like we agreed on what to post each week.
Right?
That's how in tune we seem to be. And that's crazy. Yeah.
I know. It's awesome. And so I definitely wanted to have you on today to talk about, because again, this is something we always, I think, hit on, is how certain things work together, right? You can't just have one thing and think you're going to start getting a bunch of clients, right? There's a process to things, starting with, branding, to creating awareness, to your website, to getting people on an email list. It's a whole sales funnel.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk to you about that, the importance of holistic marketing, creating that diverse online presence that makes you searchable, accessible through various channels across the web, and how that helps the prospect or the consumer with their purchase decision. So I feel, and I think you'll agree with this, that all starts with being clear on your brand and your message and your target audience.
Yes, obviously. It's like, how are you going to market something if you don't know what that something is? So it all starts within. And before you get your message out there, your product out there, your service out there, you need to be sure what that product, service, message actually is. And that's something that we get a lot in terms of clients, and the biggest issue they come at us with. They come at us with, and you relate to this for sure. They come at us with, I need more clients and I need to sell more, but they're often not clear on who exactly they are and what they exactly have to offer, and even worse, to actually whom. Because if you don't know who do you want to hit with your message, then none of this is going to work.
Yeah. And sometimes it's easy to think, oh, everyone can use my product or service. But if you really break it down and start thinking about it, everyone is not going to be interested in your service. Everyone is not going to be interested in, right, what you, or need what you, offer. My favorite kind of pet peeve is on Instagram or any social media platform, when you get a direct message that's like, you might be interested in our marketing service or whatever. And I'm like, I do marketing. So it's like, I'm not going to be interested in that service. So, you don't want to be reaching out to people and making assumptions.
Marketing agencies doing cold outreach, that always like gets me like, what?
Yeah.
if you knew marketing, you didn't probably need to do cold outreach. That's just my take. I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree, because today we have so many barriers that stop us from, cold outreach, but also as a consumer, it's annoying, right? I don't want to be bombarded with messages that are, just, I can tell you don't know who I am really, and you're trying to pitch your service to me and it doesn't work. Or especially cold calling. As soon as I get any phone number that's not in my contact list, I do not answer.
Is that still a thing? Like,
yes.
Is that still a thing there? Oh my God, no, that's like a 80s, 90s
right?
approach.
It does not work.
No. Plus, I have caller ID and scam my phone automatically blocks spammers and stuff like that. And it's a thing. Like, it doesn't work for a small player. Like, if you're a service provider that is trying to land like a really big client, and there's absolutely no other way to get in touch with them without you directly email, messaging, like, that's fine and understandable. For us, the service providers and solopreneurs and all that, like, it makes zero sense to be cold DMing 100 people. Like, it's just damaging your own reputation. Even if you have a reputation, because you won't be able to build a reputation out of that. There's better ways to land clients and better ways to land better clients than to be cold DMing 100 people a day. And that comes from a proper marketing strategy, and you'll build a lot more of a valuable experience to everyone with a proper marketing and a proper brand strategy than necessarily be, exactly. I do this and that. Do you want to buy? No. I always say, you might have exactly what I need at the exact right time, and you might be the best one to provide me with that service. If you cold email me, no, I'll lock you out of, like, immediately, because it just proves me that you're not the type of person I want to be around with.
I agree with that. I agree with that completely, because it kind of, we are in this era of business where we want to work with people we like. We want to work with people that we vibe with. And just the fact that someone is reaching out and just like, it's an annoyance. It's bugging me. It's like, it's like, that's, I even, and I like what you said too, is for some instances, cold calling can work, because here's the thing, there's no right or wrong way there's no blanket statements, right? There's no right or wrong way for anything. There's always a time and a place for certain strategies and things like that. But you don't want to do something, just because it worked for this person, or just because I hear this company's doing that. Never. You have to have your own unique strategy. What works for you? What works for, the message you're trying to get across? What works for the target audience you are after? Because, like we just said, if you cold outreach to us, it's not going to work.
Exactly. Now, imagine that you're trying to work with a high-ranking CMO at Facebook. Maybe that's the only way you get in front of them, right?
Yeah, right.
Because those people are not scrolling IG.
Exactly.
Right? Busy all day. So maybe that's the only way that you reach. But like for us, like, sorry, but it's not gonna happen.
And where I live, it goes a step further. I still have door-to-door people, like door-to-door salesmen.
Oh my God. No.
Yes.
Is that a thing? Yeah,
I
that's
do.
even worse.
Obviously not lately, because people have been like social distancing, but yeah, I would get people like selling windows, like everything. And I'm like, I'm good.
The worst job to have. Like, the rejection level to those jobs must be crushing.
Oh, I know. I don't know if I could do it. And again, who knows? There may be a time and a place for that, but I feel like it's especially someone's home that feels very intrusive.
Yeah, so private. So like, if it's a social media, you can just ignore, but like knocking at your door,
you can't escape that.
It's a way. My whole position on all this is that may work, and that may be plausible to some people. I'm just saying that there are better, more effective ways.
Exactly.
Where you will deploy probably less time-consuming efforts, but more focused. That will get you better, more qualified results. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And I think that's really mostly what we're going to cover today is what those things are and how to do that. Because with the internet now, I say now like it's a new thing. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
But with the internet, but especially with a lot of, you know, even just within the last decade, I mean, we have social media now. We have all these free avenues, free channels that we can be on that everyone is already on. And I'm sure everyone can, you know, relate to this is as soon as I'm looking for a product or service, the first thing I do is pull out my phone and I Google it. So
for a product, I do that.
Yeah. So it's like, as soon as, you know, I Google, I'm probably not going to go past that first Google search result page. I'm going to go look at the website. I'm going to see, okay, do they have any social media? I'm going to look for those badges on the website. I'm going to go look through social media, right? I'm going to see what people are saying. And then I'm going to be like,
if they're
okay,
legit, validate them.
Exactly. I'm going to see, can I find any online reviews? You know, anything like that. And then I might even take it a step further and ask, you know, especially if it's a local business, hey, to my friends or family, hey, have you heard about them? You know, have you gone there? Even if I hear something word of mouth, even if a friend or family member tells me, I'm still going to Google it myself and see if it's a fit for me. While you might be doing okay on that word of mouth marketing, how many people did not contact you because they Googled you and couldn't find any more information? Right. So you have no way to measure that. You have no way to do that. But when we have a complete diverse digital presence with analytics, we can watch all of that. We can see who's visiting, who's calling, who's all that. So so I want to get, it's okay. I was just going to say, I want to get your take on all of that. You know, just how that starts of how people, you know, from Googling to converting to a, you know, a client.
Like, the main difference that I always say between word of mouth and the actual proper marketing, whatever strategy you take on, is that it's that sense of control that you don't have over word of mouth. Like, you can try asking people if they've been mentioning your name and all that, but word of mouth isn't really something that you can fully control. There's nothing that you can fully control. And there's nothing that you can fully control. Okay, that's a myth. But people like that sense of I'm doing something right. I'm doing something. I'm deploying something. Like, I would risk saying, and I can actually confirm this later. I would risk saying that maybe 50 to 70% of the new clients that come to us, they come from word of mouth. But I'll say this: before they actually reach out, they scavenge my every profile, they scavenge my website.
Exactly.
And I have a really practical example. I've just started a new branding client, personal brand, and the guy came from a previous client. Before he reached out, I saw that he checked my LinkedIn, because you can actually see your profile. I've seen a hit from a new country on my website that the guy lives in. So he went through my website, he went through my LinkedIn, he went through my IG because he followed me on there as well. And then he contacted me.
Exactly.
He came, the client came from a referral, but he only contacted me after checking me out online. If I had nothing online, or if it was all a mess, like if it wasn't purposely built, he probably hadn't contacted me, and he became a rather big client at this point. So so I would like to come up with some sort of strategy to connect both, like having word of mouth and then a proper marketing strategy aligned with that, and have everything working together, because that would be a step even further into that holistic approach that you were talking about, like include word of mouth into Google SEO, websites, social media, like having a place into all of that for word of mouth and making everything work together. That would be amazing.
Because that's, like you just said, like, you explained that perfectly. And that's exactly what happens. And like you said, if you didn't have anything, or or what you did have wasn't professional, was confusing, was not user friendly, I highly doubt he would be a client right now.
Yeah, because if you went through that trouble to visit every profile and every page on my website, if something wasn't like clicking, it wouldn't become the big client that he is now.
Right.
But it didn't discover me through Google search or anything. It came from a previous client, but still went through it all. Now imagine someone that didn't come from a referral, that is just landing on your website for the first time. Everything has to be top notch, because competition is fierce, especially for us in the creative industries and marketing industries. Like for your clients, like yes, there's competition everywhere, but like we're not ranking on Google. Like, there's no way that as a creative service provider that I'm going to rank on Google. There's so many of us. Like there's just no way. I would have to pay and top dollar to be on there.
But that's why this kind of leads into as well, like just having that diverse online presence, because sure, if unless you're running Google ads and things like that, it is going to be a little harder to rank with what we do specifically. It is going to be harder to rank in there, but that's why I always say, and I know you've started one as well. The Google My Business profile helps you with more locally search results, and also doing a blog. Because if someone is searching like, what is a sales funnel? And you did a blog on what is a sales funnel. And if enough people are, linking to that as a reference or clicking on it. Of course, all of this takes time, right? You're not going to write a blog yesterday and have it ranked number one today. But over time, you're putting out more searchable content. So, that's just another thing with this whole, diverse marketing strategy, holistic marketing strategy, is just doing all of these things that make you more searchable. Because of course, like you said, word of mouth, as soon as someone hears word of mouth, they're going to go directly to your website. But unless someone previously knows about you, how are they finding you? So they're either Googling something they're interested in, which is something that you offer, they're looking on social media for someone to provide marketing tips or tricks, for example, with what I do. So just having all of these things online set up properly so they are searchable is key. I mean, it's something as simple as having the word marketing in your username is going to make you searchable on Instagram, right? So,
I'll share a cool example. So one of the keywords that we're when I say like super low sort of ranking on Google, is when people look for growing a brand or growing a brand strategy, just because our name is Growing Design. So we've been working on that. No, but I did that completely at random, like that's
by chance. That's cool.
Was not purposeful, right? So including that super niche word, we've been sort of getting views out of that. And when people look how to grow a brand or how to is it difficult growing a brand, like those, if they include those two words, we've been getting results out of that. But at the same time, like, you can see what's happening, but there's no way that you can fully control that. What you can control is the holistic approach that you have towards all these different efforts. And the more coherent they are, the stronger they are, the more well-researched they are, and the purposeful they are, the better all this will go. And you have more experience with local businesses, right? Or not at all?
Kind of. What do you mean exactly?
Like niche business? Are they niche like businesses and local businesses? Because with those, search for sure can be a huge perk, because one thing that I know is that the more niched you become, and the more local you'll become, the easier it will be for you.
Exactly. Exactly. Because for example, if you are say you're a gardener or a landscaper, right? So gardener, landscaper, let's say you're based in New York, right? Gardener, landscaper in New York. Okay, that you're going to find a lot, gardener, landscaper in New York. But let's say you're a rooftop gardener in New York. Okay, that narrows it down even further. Let's say you're a rooftop gardener in, I don't know, a very specific Manhattan, maybe.
Exactly.
You're going, you know, as soon as anyone in that area is looking for a rooftop gardener in Manhattan, I mean, you're going to pop up. So, it's,
Even
yeah,
if they are like
definitely.
5. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that puts a lot easier for example, me, that I'm a brand designer working worldwide, right? That's just laughable in terms of search. Like there's just no way,
Right.
there's just no way that I'm gonna pop up in there
Yeah.
unless I get super specific with those blog posts and
Hmm.
those collaborations and all those links and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's
And
always
that's,
something.
yeah, but there's pros and cons to both because, for example, with what we do, we can work with anyone anywhere, right? There's no, it's all digital, it's all on our computer. So there's really no restrictions there. Where if I am a landscaper or a gardener, I have to niche down to my area because I can't just fly to Portugal and, you know,
Of
do
course.
a landscaping job, right? So there are pros and cons. Whereas if you are a
Exactly.
local business and you're niched, sure, you have that pro of like, I can really kind of hopefully be known or take over this area. But then you don't have that option of reaching further. So there are pros and cons to both. So you just,
Like
again,
everything.
that comes down to strategy, right?
Yeah.
A strategy that's unique for your business, your needs, how your business operates is going to be different. Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
What else?
So what, yeah, I was just going to say what else. So with, with the holistic marketing strategy. So a lot of the things that, I do there with my clients, I kind of have like the top, like 4 or 5 things I do. Obviously we said like your brand has to be solid. You have to know who you are, who you're targeting, all of that, right? That's,
Foundational.
you got to know that. Right. So, but then I always start with a website because that is where everything should be linking back to, whether you're doing email marketing, social media, whatever you're doing online is going to be linking back to that. And then I always encourage blogs because we talked about how that makes you more searchable. And then some kind of freebie, right? To get people on an email list. So they're coming to your website, they find you on social media, they want more information. What can you offer them? Right? Because most people aren't going to buy immediately. They need like 7 to 20 touch points before they even reach out. So what more can you give them? Right? We give value on social media. You can give value in a freebie, which I know you have one. Go Boss Yourself, which I looked at. It's very awesome. And yeah. And so you have something like that where you can get people on an email list and then start email marketing and dripping on them. So that's really kind of the framework that I typically use to create a more diverse digital presence. Of course, there's a lot of little underlying things on there as well, like having analytic softwares installed and like just watching and monitoring all that stuff. But if you have anything to add, but I think those are like the top things that people are actively searching for, looking for as a consumer, as a prospect, to learn more about a business and ultimately make a decision if they're going to work with you or not.
Oh yes, for sure. I would say that before I hire anyone, and I do hire a lot of people for specific projects, at least a couple active social media accounts. That's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And then if you have a website, if you have a blog, and if you have a freebie, that's just like compound effect. You know, the more you can actually put of yourself out there, the better. One thing that I especially for service providers, one thing that I do try to pay attention is how they interact with other businesses and other services providers.
Yes.
If they collaborate with other people, if they go on lives with other people, if they're actually social, you know, because that will tell you if they're a good person or not. Like the skill is obviously important, but one thing that I've been diving deeper into is actually soft skills. And if that gets exposed and showed publicly in their social media, in their accounts, in their presence, that's a huge plus. But yes, like the bare minimum nowadays is a website. Like social media is fine, social media is great, but it's a tool it's a medium to then go to that place that you own, which is your website. And then
Yes.
like your website should have a focused action that you want people to take on. Either that's freebie that you were talking about, that's great, or to directly contact you. And then all your efforts should point out to this action, right? Because most of us service providers, we just want people to reach out, right? Once they reach out, we can do our own thing and convert them and jump on a sales call and all that.
Yeah.
The difficult thing is to actually make someone contact you, right? That's what takes a lot. So the more you give of yourself, the more they will like, trust, and know you. It's another cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah.
It is, because I've had people jump on calls telling me, Joel, I feel like I know you. I'm like, I'm talking to you for the first time in my life. And like, I feel like I know you because you're one thing that I find especially interesting is like, I feel like you're there.
Yeah.
Joel, I feel like you're there. I'm like, I'm just as much there for you as I am for anyone else that is watching. So that's great, you know?
Yeah, that's a compliment.
You achieve that through your content, through your presence, through your social media, through your daily efforts into all this.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all marketing. It's all marketing, right? Even what we're doing here today, this is pure marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? This is content. This is putting things out there. This is us saying we're here.
Exactly. Exactly. And I like that you bring that up, because you can have social media, you can have a website, you can have all these things, but if you're not actively engaging on them, it's not going to work. You could be posting to social media, you could be posting amazing, valuable content and really professional looking content, which I've actually seen. And I go and I see this great content. It's not getting any attention. It's not getting any likes or comments or anything. And that's because
they don't do it first. You have to give first.
Exactly. So it's like, you have to be social. I explain social media specifically, but even a lot of digital marketing, I explain it like a 24/7 networking event. It is. So if you go to an in-person networking event and you go and they're there and you just stand in the corner and you don't talk to anybody, what are you getting out of it? You're not getting anything out of it.
Nothing.
Right. Yeah. But if you go and you approach people and you talk to people and you just have conversations, not even approaching them and start pitching and selling to them. That's not what you do, right? You go up and you talk and you're like, hey, where are you from? Like, how'd you get in the business or whatever it is? You just start having conversation. And online should be no different. Online should be no different, especially social media, especially.
Yeah. I've went to one in-person networking event, web summit here in Lisbon.
Yeah.
I went for 3 days, spoke to no one, just because I'm not that person, right? I can do it on social media all day, every day, but in person, not at all. I'm just not that much of a social human being.
I'm
with you. I got absolutely nothing out of those 3, except from all the conferences and talks and all that. That was all great. But in terms of networking, for a networking event, I got absolutely nothing because I didn't talk to anyone. On Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, whatever you want. It's always the same. If you don't talk to people, people won't talk to you.
Exactly. I mean, and that's how we met, right? We were networking on Instagram. That's how we met. Yeah. That's how I've met a lot of my clients. Just we'll be talking about nothing even marketing related or work related. We just follow each other because we like each other's content, or we find each other, stumble upon each other, or are referred by another account, anything like that. And there you go. They turn into clients.
They start seeing you. They start consuming your content. They start acknowledging you as the professional in that field. And the next time they need someone like you, you'll be there.
Top of mind.
Just like I was. Exactly. Yeah, that's pure marketing. That's marketing. Yeah. Relationships and friendships and I always say start conversations, meet people, make friends, get clients, because that's sort of what happens, right? That's amazing, because getting a like getting someone to fill out your website form and they becoming a client, that's awesome, right? But like that person that you actually start seeing as your friend becoming your client, that's even better, you know?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah. I know.
Especially if you're doing brand work. If you're doing brand work, if I actually know the person before we start doing brand work, it's like
makes it so much easier.
Already done, right? So that's amazing. I've had the opportunity to brand two of the people that we engage with on a daily basis, and once we kicked off those projects, I was like, this is going to be easy because I've been talking to you.
I already know you. Yeah.
7-8 months now. So I know exactly what you need. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause that's exactly how I start with every client I work with, whether, like you said, if I already know them from, we've connected on social media and I know them, that makes it really easy. But if I haven't had that opportunity, that's the first thing we do is we'll sit down for an hour and just talk and I just get to know them, because I can't market you unless I truly know, what you do and who you help and all of that. But yeah. And, we are so almost spoiled in a way, as small business owners, as marketing professionals. Yes, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of moving parts going on. There's way more moving parts than there were like 10, 15 years ago. There's a lot, right? It's a lot to take on. It's a lot to handle. However, we are spoiled in the way that we have access to all of these tools. Like just having the internet and just the way marketing is today is amazing. I mean, I remember I was watching some older shows. Like, I don't know if you're familiar. There's a show. It's a sitcom from like the 60s. It's called Bewitched. It's an American sitcom. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
It rings a bell. Yes.
Okay. So, well, the husband in that show works in marketing and advertising. And it's just so funny because you watch it and there's the offices, there's like not even a computer. Obviously, there's no computer. They're working on marketing campaigns and they'll take an entire week to come up with one slogan. And I'm like, wow, like now today it's so fast paced and we have so many tools at our disposal that we'll do that in a few hours. And you have to be out and present online immediately or you're buried by the competition. You don't have time to do that. Right. Exactly. So it's really great, but it's also like, you got to be fast.
Yeah. So let me just say this: mad respect for all those folks, right?
Right. Because oh my gosh. I just
had this conversation this morning with the client too. Design and branding and all that is way older than actual computers.
Yeah.
Imagine doing what we do with pen and paper, crayons and photocopies and stuff. That's just crazy.
I know. I agree. Like I see like those old, I even just saw it was for a hat company. And it was from 1920s and it was an ad and it was an actual painting of an, and it was gorgeous, but I'm like, today you would do that digitally so fast. And it's a different kind of talent. It's a different skill set because I know I can design logos and I can do some really great design work on the computer, but you take my computer away and you tell me to just sketch it. Exactly. You probably might, I don't know if you would want to work with me if you saw those sketches.
I wouldn't have a business, much less even be a designer, if the internet or the computers weren't a thing. That I can tell you that much. Like that's just, I can't even wrap my hand around it. Kenny, for example. Kenny has been around, he says, for 40 years. So he's one of the veterans in our area. Like, how? Just
I know.
How would you come up with a full-blown advertising campaign with just Xerox and photocopies and stuff like that? But how?
I know it does. It blows my mind a little bit. Yeah.
In that respect, no, we got it easy. Like I'm always saying this, we got it easier for sure. Even with all the competition and the playing field, the same playing field for everyone, and we all start at the same level and all that. Even with all those things, we for sure got it easier.
Yes. Yeah. So it's almost like there's, I mean, I don't want to say this because there is an excuse, but it's almost like there's no excuse. Because there's always a way to put yourself out there and get your name out there.
If you have a
Now, of
phone,
course,
you
that
have
does
mates.
take some understanding and skill, and we understand how it all works together, and even understanding the human psychology behind it all, right? We know that just the way a website is laid out is going to make people follow a certain pattern or click on certain things or enter that email address, right? You can't just have a random layout and expect it to work as well as a well thought out layout. So, so there's all of those things. But
it's just this: if everything that you create, if you establish a clear purpose for it,
yes,
it will eventually all work out. Don't do anything at random, and eventually it will all work out.
That's exactly what I was just gonna. That's exactly what I was just gonna bring up is purposeful marketing, right? Like everything that we do, the website, the way it's laid out, every social media post, every post, right?
Yeah.
A purpose.
Okay, I can say that for growing design. For Joel, my personal brand, I've been doing things a bit at random because I just have thoughts and eventually stuff as well. But for growing design, no, everything is purposefully written and designed and all that for sure.
But I would even go ahead.
Because what's the point, right? If you're going to do things at random, just because everyone else is doing, or because we're here telling you to do it,
right?
It's not going to work. Sorry, but it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You need a strategy. You need to be purposeful. It needs to be meaningful as well. And you need to understand who's going to be reading that. You need to get inside their minds to write something that they actually want to read and all that. It's the whole thing. And that's why we have professionals like us trying to help.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I see a lot of small businesses that will just post about, they'll just post about random stuff. And I always think if this is the first post someone is seeing of you, is it giving them an idea of who you are and what you offer? It doesn't always have to be a salesy post. We don't want that, right? We don't want every post to be sales. But does it give me an idea of who you are? Because I see a lot of small businesses, they'll just randomly post all those national holidays, National Ice Cream Day.
What I was going to say. Who cares? You're not a calendar, you're a business owner.
Exactly. So if you're a oh gosh, I don't even know. If you're a cleaning service and you're posting about, I always say National Ice Cream Day because that's a big one, but you post about National Ice Cream Day. Unless
you sell ice creams.
Yes. Or I was going to say, unless you are a cleaning service and you show a picture of a kid who dropped their ice cream on the carpet and now the carpet needs cleaned, right? There's
meaning to it.
Exactly. If you can insert your brand and your messaging and your value into that national holiday, great. But to just randomly post about it, and you figure too, on that day, National Ice Cream Day, and you're scrolling and you see 100 posts about National Ice Cream Day, you're just going to keep on scrolling, right? So it doesn't help at all. So
no. Yeah. I would say, imagine that I, as a personal brand, Joel, I'm very big on ice cream and I talk about ice creams every day. If that day comes up, bam, that's great. I'm not sure when this episode is going to air, but I'll say this.
Yeah.
May 4th is about around the corner, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see so many posts about Star Wars.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. You'll see so many posts about that from random businesses and random people, and it makes zero sense unless you're a diehard Star Wars fan and you take that opportunity to show the nerdy side of you on that post. That will build pretty well for a personal brand, because people will relate to that and they will respect you for sharing that side of you publicly on a social media.
Right.
Unless you're that person, there's absolutely no reason to celebrate May the 4th as the Star Wars Day.
Exactly. I'm so glad we're on the same page with this. Because I see those all the time, and I'm and here's the thing, I'm sitting here and I say I see them all the time, but I can't tell you what business I saw posting them, right? So that just proves it.
to our point, like I know they're gonna pop up. I'm just not sure who's gonna post it. I know it's gonna be a bunch of them.
Right. And then
And
you're
I
not going to
don't know
remember
who.
who. So it was like pointless,
No,
right?
no.
Yeah. So yeah, purposeful marketing. Like I said, if you can do something on that day that makes you stand out among all the other posts,
Mhm.
then great. Like I said, if you're the carpet cleaner and you have it's something funny, I don't know. But yeah, you got to be really clever with that stuff.
Of course.
Otherwise, you just
It's the same issue with trendy reels, right? Everyone blindly following all these trends
yeah,
that will lead to absolutely nowhere. That's also a big issue. Never do anything just because everyone else is doing, and that applies
right.
to life, not just your business.
Oh,
Um,
exactly.
but it's true, and I see people close to us blindly following all those real trends and all that, and it's not doing them any good. They just
Right.
want that quick high on numbers, and it's crazy. That's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Purposeful. Be
Yeah.
purposeful about everything you put out, everything you create, and it has everything has to have like a common final goal. That's
Exactly.
marketing. I studied marketing, but not in depth in school.
Mhm.
But I'm sure you can correct me on this. Um, if it hasn't, if something that you do hasn't like an established clear goal, is it even marketing? It's
Yeah.
not, right? Because if a
No,
marketing strategy needs a clear goal, if you're doing anything,
exactly.
something like random, it's not marketing. You're not
Yeah, that's a good
marketing
point.
anything. It's
Yeah,
just
that's a good point.
doing things.
Yeah, that is a very good point because you could be like, okay, I'm a small business and I'm posting on social media. But if there's no purposeful strategy and direction behind that, you're
Not gonna
right.
lead
Is
you
it
anywhere.
marketing? No. Because you have to have a plan in order to have marketing. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. Cause all of that, like we said, all of that, even social media, what's the point of that? Yeah, it's to create awareness and all of that, but what's the next step? Are you trying to get people to your website? Are you trying to get them on an email list? Are you trying to get them to book a call? What is that next step? Right. So there's layers to all of it.
Of course. And you
And
might
driving.
even just be on the awareness phase, which is fine. You might be
Yeah.
on that
We're all in
phase
different
as a brand
phases of the journey, right?
that you're just creating awareness. Exactly. I'm
Mhm.
just posting to build up my following to create this awareness.
Yeah.
Anything that comes after, I'll figure it out. That's fine. And
Right.
unless you're not conscious of it, if you're just doing things at random, nah, you're gonna burn out real quick because
Oh,
you're just
yeah.
doing things
Oh, yeah.
for the sake of it, and it's not gonna
Yeah.
get you anywhere.
And too, I like that
So
you bring that up too, because not only us being as business owners on a certain part of that journey, but also the consumer, right? The consumer you're always going to have people at different points in their own journey. So they might have just been introduced to you. So they might not be reaching out right away, but you might have someone else who's been watching you for a while, who went through all those steps, who signed up for your email list, who did all that. That could have happened a year ago and they're just now reaching out. So
yes.
everyone's ready at different points, in that decision-making process. So yeah, you just that's why consistency is so important, because you don't know where that person
Yes,
is. I think we talked about this before about I know on social media, they say about removing ghost followers.
that's bonkers.
Don't do
That's
that.
stupidity at best.
Yeah.
I'm
Cause you
sorry.
don't know who's watching. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know if I share that with you. I had this is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Someone that followed me, Joel,
Mm-hmm.
for over a year. Okay,
Yeah.
because I then I've had that conversation with her. Someone that has been following me for over a year on Joel reached out to Growing Design to become a Growing Design client. Now, I didn't even knew the existence of this person. She never liked one of my posts. She never commented on any of my posts. She never reacted to anything.
Yeah.
And her account had like a strange logo, no face, no couple of posts, like your typical ghost follower.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she became like a 3K client, like on a first project.
Nice. And imagine now if you would have removed her. That's like,
Right. And
that's
like,
horrible.
I'll say this publicly, if you have the time to go through your following list or followers list to remove ghost followers,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you do not have a business.
You need
Because
to
if
be
you have that
focusing your
free
effort.
time, if you have that free time to go through 3, 4, 5K list of names and
Right.
manually remove people,
yeah,
what are you doing with your time?
yes, that's not, there's way better ways you can spend your time.
Yeah, like go spam DM people, because I'm sure you'll get better results out of that than removing.
Right,
No, I'm
exactly.
sorry, no, it's
Yeah,
crazy. And then
use
you
that.
see all
No,
these
it's true.
posts, remove your ghost followers to increase your engagement and blah, blah, blah. No, post better content, you'll get better engagement. Focus on creating better content and your engagement will go up, because that's the conversation. You remove ghost followers to improve your engagement rate, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, create better content.
Well, and also another point I want to make with that too is for example, I post a lot of, educational content, right? And you and I both get decent engagement. We get lots of likes, we get lots of comments, all of that. However, I want to point out all of our engagement is mostly, and this is a good thing, but all of our engagement is mostly from others in the community, right? You and I are in the same community, all of that.
Exactly.
And the reason for that is people who are watching and learning or interested in learning more, or possibly thinking of hiring you, they don't have the same experience and knowledge of the topic that we're posting about.
To add to the conversations that we're starting. That's why they don't comment. Yeah,
exactly. So it's harder for them to comment. They might enjoy the content. They might be learning from it. But I know there's accounts I follow that I don't really know anything about what they do. Like, I'm interested, I'm curious, I'm learning, I'm watching, but I'm not commenting because I don't know what I would say. I don't have anything of value to add to the comments. I might be like, oh, that was interesting or something, but I have nothing to say about it. So I'm consuming it. I'm enjoying it. I'm learning from it. But yeah, I'm not commenting. So like you said, just because someone is not liking or engaging doesn't mean that they're not interested.
A year, Lindsay, a year of listening what I have to say on stories, a year of my posts, it's a year. And she signed a 3K contract.
And who knows? Someone else could be watching you right now and they might be 6 months in and they might reach out to you in another 6 months, So
it's for sure a long-term thing, and it's not something that you're going to harvest results right away. I don't know if there's like me on this. Is there like any marketing strategy that you can guarantee results after 2-3 weeks?
No, you can't guarantee results on pretty much anything. Now you can guarantee I even hate to use the word guarantee, but you can assure people look, if we follow this strategy, there will be growth. If you stay and you stick to this strategy and we watch and we analyze and we make adjustments, we see what people are reacting to, you can tweak that over time to get growth, but you can't say, okay, let's start a social media strategy. And in 2 months, I'm going to have 5,000 extra followers. Impossible. Unless you're buying followers. You cannot guarantee that. And we know that's a bad idea. But there's no way you can.
Let me quickly rephrase that.
Yeah.
Is there any marketing strategy that you can, I don't know, no guarantee, but guarantee, let's use that word again, guarantee people that people will reach out to you in a specific time frame? Imagine that I'm buying services from you and I'm saying, Lindsay, in 3 months, I need to land at least 5 more clients. So for that, I will probably need, 15, 20 leads.
Yeah.
To 5 of them to become clients. Would you be able to promise me 20 people that will reach out to me in 3 months?
No, I don't think you can promise that.
Yeah,
you can set
it's a long term.
Right. Yeah, it's long term. Like I said, you can set up everything and have everything in place. We can set up that website. We can set up those lead magnets. We can set up, all of the things we need to do. We can network. But like you said, you just don't know, because you gave the perfect example that person was following you for a year. So you were doing everything right. They just weren't ready. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't ready.
And she was super open to that as well. I would have reached out earlier, but I had foundational business stuff, aka money, to before do all this branding process, which is fine. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You could have reached out and would that helped you with some other stuff earlier on, like free. But that's amazing. So yeah, people are watching.
Yeah.
That's a good
And
one.
people are people, right?
You might have 20 followers.
Mm-hmm.
5 of them are watching.
Yeah.
And if out of those 5, 1 becomes a client, that's a good effort.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's a really good effort. Yeah. Yeah. And we have to remember too that, right, people are people, right? They are, maybe they really want to use your service, but they just don't have the funds yet. Or, maybe they are working on another project and they're like, as soon as we're done with this, we're going to contact Joel. Or, right, you just don't know where they are on that journey. You're not just
real life stuff happens.
Real life stuff happens. I mean, there's just so many scenarios.
We're all humans.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I do have people. It's been few and far between. I think most people, for the most part, understand that it takes time. You're building relationships, right? Especially for service-based businesses. Product-based businesses can be slightly more of an impulse buy kind of thing, but service-based, there needs to be a little more trust there to a point.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. So, but yes, I'm glad you brought that up because yes, it takes time. It takes time.
It takes time. And,
yes.
And even like from your client's perspective, if they don't understand that before hiring a marketing professional, like, I don't even know if I want to work with that person,
Yeah.
Because if you come at me the same way that I came at you with that example, Lindsay, I'm going to hire you and I need 20 leads in 3 months. Like, someone comes to me like that, like, no, I'm sorry, but I won't make empty promises ever. Like,
I agree.
You might deliver them the best strategy ever and they get the leads coming in. Imagine that the guy is a jerk greeting clients. You might have the best marketing strategy, the best everything, the best website, the best content. As soon as someone reaches out to your actual client, whereas you don't have the control there, and the guy is a jerk, then it's not your fault for not landing him.
Exactly. Exactly.
There are so many variables here that it's crazy.
Yeah. And that's one thing I always do talk about with my clients or when I'm onboarding a client is that they understand that it is a team effort. Yes, I'm going to take on a huge bulk of the work, right? I'm going to take on a lot of the work in setting all of this up, monitoring everything, getting a strategy together, the whole thing. However, I'm not the last touch point. You are, right? The client is the last touch point. And like you just said, if those leads are coming in, but you don't follow up with that lead, say a lead comes in and I say, hey, I saw you have a couple leads here. You might want to reach out to them. And you don't reach out to them for like 2 weeks.
Not gonna happen.
I have no control over that. Or
there's that cliche, there's no amount of marketing efforts, marketing money, marketing dollars that will save a bad business. And that's just how it is. You might have the best marketing agency in the world working for you. If your business sucks, your business sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's true though. How it is.
Yeah, it's true though. And I had her as well. I did a podcast with Rachel and she's a sales coach. She's in sales. And we talked about this exact thing where marketing takes you up to that sales point. Right. We get the leads, but then it's up to you to close that sale or to convert that prospect into a client or, so yep, exactly.
It will only get you so far.
Yeah. Like and a lot of this too, we talk about all of this marketing and this holistic approach. And the whole point is to get people coming to you, right? We funnel them in, we put everything out there we can and get them coming to you because at that point, and like we said about cold calling in the beginning of this episode, is if someone is actively searching you out and coming to you and they actually book a call, they are going to be more likely to turn into a client or a customer, simply because you allowed them to have that control to find their way to you, if that makes sense, versus being pushy and cold calling and cold outreach.
Yeah.
So
I like to think of it as gates. You know,
mhm.
they find you on social. From social, they go to your website. Website, they consume 1 or 2 blog posts. 1 or 2 blog posts, they download the freebie. If they download the freebie and actually read it, they finally contact you. If they go through all that,
Yeah.
they're most likely a qualified client, right? So you know
Exactly.
for sure that they can become a good client to you because they're really interested if they went through all of that.
Yeah.
That's marketing, right? You
Yeah.
grab 1,000 people and you end up with 3 because
Right.
because you need to filter them all through those touch points.
Yeah. It's
That's
a great
amazing.
way to vet them. Like you said, filter is a great
Mhm.
word. It's a great way to filter them out, vet them out, because then, like you said, if they get to that point,
Yeah,
they're
gate
likely,
after gate after gate.
yeah,
Yes,
they're likely a fit. They're likely going to work with you. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's why we
I
put
like
all
that.
of this into place.
Mhm.
So I
And
want
I
to,
like that.
yeah. So I wanted to, so we talk about all of this, right? And we've done it for ourselves, we've done it for clients, but I guess I want to kind of end on, like, yes, we do this, but what's our own experience with this? Like, I know we've kind of talked throughout this
Mhm.
podcast a little bit about that, but I guess just doing all of this for yourself, like, what have you, seen and how it all.
One thing I'll say for sure, we as humans globally, and I'm not sure if people like to say that it's because of the pandemic and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if it's just in us from the get-go that we crave this human connection more than anything else. Okay.
Mhm.
And again, I'm not sure if it's because we're getting out of the pandemic and all that, and we spend so much time indoors and blah blah blah, and that's why we crave this human connection. But on the other hand, I think it's engraved in all
I
of us.
agree with that. Yeah, we're social
And
creatures.
exactly. One thing I'll say for sure, if you have the possibility to build a personal brand attached to whatever business you're running, absolutely go for it. Like
Yeah.
that's me. And I have that in place. I have Joel, my personal brand, feeding growing design at this point. Okay. And you can see that on super small examples like you and I.
Mhm.
And you could see that in Tesla with Elon Musk. So you see the wide range of how this happens. Like Tesla wouldn't be anything without Elon Musk. So you have Elon
Exactly.
Musk as the personal brand and Tesla as the brand. Um, and I say that because um, before us having Elon Musk as public as it is now, the guy invented PayPal. Most people don't even know that, but he's one of the brains behind PayPal. That's crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so at the time that PayPal launched, Elon Musk wasn't the thing, wasn't the personal brand, right?
Yeah.
Tesla is as successful right now. I would risk saying this because of this public figure that is Elon
Mhm.
Musk, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
at a very, 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 very smaller scale, I'm doing exactly that with growing design. We have Joel,
Mhm.
this is laughable, but like public figure, right?
Yeah,
And that
no.
is feeding growing design. Okay.
Yeah.
Just like you present yourself as border marketing, but I can guarantee you people know you as Lindsay, not as border marketing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's just how it is. So if you have the possibility to have a personal brand feeding your business, absolutely do it. And then the thought process is always the same. Social media content, blogs, websites, everything in place, super coherent, super cohesive, all working with each other perfectly to an end goal. That is, in most cases,
Yeah.
get people to contact you.
I
Okay,
love that.
that
I love
that
that.
that's what we've been doing, and
Yeah.
it's what we're gonna dive even deeper into. I will take this opportunity to announce that we're gonna have like a launch of 3 freebies for growing design, which will be
Nice.
an extra step into that funnel. It's going to help a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of those people that aren't ready to invest that amount of money, to get them
Yeah.
started. And it's
Mhm.
a way of me showing what we can do, what we can offer, and what we're here for, without having them to pay a cent, you know. So it's one
Yeah.
extra gate into all of this. Super excited with that. And
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you bring a couple points. I love that you talk about those freebies you're offering, because like we said earlier, everyone's in a different point in their own journey. So they might be watching you and thinking, oh, I really want to work with him, but I'm not there yet. Right. So you offering that freebie, that helps that person at that point, right? Then the person who's at the point where I'm like, I'm so busy and I just can't do all this, I need to hire someone, they hire you, or those people you're helping that need the freebie right now work their way up to the point where they can work with you. So, I kind of use that same strategy as well, of like, offering different service levels and offering even just something as simple as a consultation call, even if I know they can't become a client, whatever that is.
Oh yes, I have that too.
Right? Trying to help everybody, right?
I forgot about the calls, and that's so important. Like and 1 hour consultation call can do a lot for your business. And that's amazing. If you cannot afford a 4-figure project, but you can afford $150, $200 call, that will get you a lot. And if you are a DIY person, if you would like to get your hands dirty and all that, that can do you a lot. Then when you're ready, you'll remember me, because I was there at that early on stage. Yes, that's another gate into all this.
Yeah. And I really like too what you said about aligning your personal brand with the brand, and the fact that you brought up Tesla, because that shows that it doesn't matter how big of a company you are or how small of a company you are, that framework just works. That is one thing that I can say as a blanket statement, that framework works. I mean, you see it with celebrities all the time, right? You have celebrities who have their own personal, like their personal brand. Like we know the celebrity by name, but then they come out with something. They come out with a clothing line, or they come out with, perfume or whatever it is.
Exactly same thing.
Exact same thing. Yep.
Yeah. The exact same thing. It just works. And I think it works because we are craving that human connection. That's my whole point,
Yeah. We don't want to connect with logos and companies. We want to connect with people.
Yeah. Exactly. I believe that these companies work and these products succeed, and these clothing lines, liquors, we see that a lot with actors and liquors and all that. Those things work because we feel like we know the person.
Exactly. It's like earlier when you said that person
exactly.
You said that person that talked to you was like, I feel like I know you. Yeah.
Yeah. And my point is, just like it works with those massive celebrities, right? It can work, and it does work with us too. Like no one knows us.
Right.
Sorry, no one knows us. Like we have like 50 friends on IG. No one knows us, and it still works.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same logic.
Yeah, and exactly. And I want to bring this up too, is because when I first started marketing my business and all this, right? Everything we talked about today, I followed that framework, right? I had the website, I had some kind of freebie, I'm on social media, I'm doing everything I preach, I'm practicing, right? And I had just jumped on Instagram. I wasn't doing much on there before. So I jumped on Instagram probably about not quite, maybe 2 years ago. And so I, at that point, had maybe 200 followers and was already getting clients through Instagram because, like you said, I was there, I was consistent, I was showing myself, it was me, right? So people connect to that, and they then will do the research and see what else you're offering and what you're doing. And it can happen with that few followers. So people are always wanting to chase a big following. And I'm like, you don't need to, nor do you really want to, because if you have a big following, great. But sometimes when you have a huge following, it's harder to reach. How do I want to explain that? Like, it's harder to reach the people who are genuinely interested in working with you.
Oh, yes, of course.
Right? Because the
small, I saw someone say a couple days ago, if you can't sell to 200 followers, you're not going to be able to sell to 10,000 followers, because the logic is pretty much the same. if the interest isn't there, if the sales isn't there, if they're going to buy from you just because you have a large following, that's going to crash and burn in your face soon. And with those 10, 15K, 20, 100K followers, like they're selling to 200, 300 people, like at max, I would say, because the vast majority of people aren't even interested in them. It's just like, there's no point in having a large follower, large following. We've been seeing that issue with Reels, people going viral with Reels, and they end up with 8, 9, 10 new followers, 10K followers, but like more than half of them don't even care about them or what they have to say on that, and you end up with this large account filled with people. Yeah, it was an impulse follow. It's crazy. Gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, that's very true. This was like, I think this was a really good kind of example of just how doing all of these things holistically, everything working together, can really attract that right person and get them to follow you, and organically as well, without spending a lot of extra money. Yes, you may be hiring the marketing professional like you or I to do that work for you. But on top of that, there's really not much more that you have to pay for when you're doing things organically like this.
I've never bought ads ever.
Yeah, I've run like really small ads, maybe like a Facebook ad or something like that. But like, as far as spending like thousands of dollars on like a Google ad or anything like that, it's honestly not necessary. And like you said, with the small following, if you can't sell to 200 people, how are you going to sell to 20,000 people? It's the same thing with your marketing. If it's not getting, if it's getting zero traction organically, throwing money at it's not going to help it. You need to figure out what else is going on there.
Yeah, I like to look at it, and they actually write that it's a boost, right? It's like a boost thing. Because imagine that you run ads to an account that has like 3 posts. If I see your ad, it's always the same loop. I might see your ad, but I'm gonna check you out, like everything that
you're still gonna go through all those steps that we talked about.
Those things. I might see your ad. If your website is a mess, if your account has 3 posts and no one really is there,
or your last post was a year ago.
yeah, it's not gonna happen. Sorry. So I see ads, and again, full disclosure, I don't have that much experience in this, but I see ads as a boost to something that is already
working. Yes, exactly.
That's my thought process. Like, you see something that is working, you spend a couple thousand in that, and it works a lot better. That's my thought process.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
To get you off the ground, if you can do it organically, probably won't work.
Yeah.
That's my take. Again, I might be wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I agree completely with that. Yeah. Yeah. So awesome. So I just hope people kind of take this and just understand that, just all you got to do is you just got to show up. And I know it sounds like a lot, but it's like, you just got to show up and be everywhere. But once you kind of have that framework set in place, it kind of, with a little maintenance and a little, just showing up, it really works. It really works.
Might be worth saying that you don't need to have all this like right off the gate, because no one
exactly.
This is something that you're going to build up as your business builds up as well. Okay. Don't take this entire episode and think that oh shit, I need to get all these things right away. No, that's no one, not even the biggest agencies and companies out there will do that for you. So this is something that you're going to build up. So I've been in business since 2018, and we're just now coming up with freebies. So crazy.
Yeah. And you can always, and that's the thing too, is even if you did get all of this set up tomorrow, you would still find something else that you would need to be building on or whatever. I mean, it's a constant, it's a constant progress of, so you might start on just having a website and that's it. Or just having social media and that's it. But then you work your way up. You work your way up to getting that website even when I work with clients, we start with branding, and then we take the first step is like, okay, let's get a website done. We don't do in 1 month, we don't do a website and social media post and a freebie and like, right. There's steps, they build on top of one another. So
exactly.
yeah.
It is. Steady growth over jumping to conclusions and choosing the right path and getting overwhelmed and burned out like right off the gate. That's nothing.
Yeah, that's not a good thing either.
Small and steady growth. That's what I say.
Yeah, nice.
Because I've been on the other side of these conversations, and like right after a podcast, I'm like, oh my God,
no.
I need to like go back to the drawing board and all that. No, that's none of that we want.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't think you have to do everything that you hear people talking about. We're here to help guide.
Exactly.
Yes.
We're here
and so we're here to help guide you, if you're doing it yourself, or we're here to take it on if you're ready to outsource kind of thing. So
awesome.
All right.
Thank you for this.
Thank you.
And keep me updated, and anything that you need from me, let me know.
Awesome. All right. Sounds good. Hey, thanks so much, Joel. Thanks again to my guest, Joel Sousa, for diving into the topic of purposeful marketing, and I hope we gave you a bit of insight into what a complete and purposeful marketing strategy can do for your business. Find more information on Joel in the description of this podcast, and as always, my listeners are welcome to reach out to me anytime at bertamarketing.com. And once again, I'm Lindsay Berta, founder of Berta Marketing, a marketing agency designed specifically for small business owners, where I handle all of your marketing so you can focus on what you love. For more small business marketing tips, subscribe to this podcast or find me online at bertamarketing.com. Thanks for listening.